Alright, I'm caving in. I'm getting a freaking haircut this Friday. Not to say I am, like, extremely annoyed with my hairstyle as I've been in the past. I am a little annoyed, but not as annoyed as I've been, but I can't have it as a certain style because it's curly, wavy, whatever. It's just, why did my hair have to turn out like this? It was not like this when I was, like, what, 11 years old 10 years ago? No, wait a second. I actually would have been 10 years old about a decade ago because I was born in 2006, 2016. I would have been 10 years old. Now, 2026, I'll be 20 years old. Then 2036, I'll be 30 years old, which, Jesus Christ me, but, okay. I was hoping to have a certain hairstyle to my hair. Specifically, I was hoping to look like Leon S. Kennedy since Resident Evil 7, not 7, Resident Evil 9 Requiem is coming out next Friday. Which I cannot wait to get my hands on that. Stay tuned for a review. That's going to be uploaded this week. Specifically Friday, just a week before the game's released. But anyway, so now back to topic on today's video, which this has been a long time coming, I suppose. Oh god, I'm gonna be honest, I've been hesitant making this video, but then I decided to finally post my review on the 50 Shades Trilogy, and I'm surprised that did well. Like, y'all are watching it. I was expecting not to get that many views, but nope, it got decent enough views, so I'm not expecting the same thing to happen with this one. I don't know. I'm worried how my dad is gonna react. Okay, what is up with my laptop? Jesus criminy. I'm already messing up this video. But alright, as I mentioned in my last trilogy review, this was a video that I was gonna make first, and then I'd make my 50 Shades trilogy review afterwards, but I don't know when exactly I came up with the idea of wanting to discuss my thoughts with these movies. Now, I know I wanted to have this out in the month of February, as I wanted to review every single movie that fit into the category for romance. So Dad, if you're watching this, which technically you're, like, in the living room watching soccer right now, I know you told me not to watch these movies since I was at, like, a young age between 2020 to 2022, because that's how long this trilogy lasted, but, kind of a little too late for that, because I ended up watching them anyways. The only reason I watched 2 and 3 was because of that freaking cliffhanger at the end of the first movie. But anyways, that out of the way. Hello everyone, we're back to another trilogy review on the channel. So, yeah, it's now time I finally discuss my thoughts on the 365 Days trilogy, which frick me. So yeah, I would say these are the knockoff or rip-off versions of the 50 Shades trilogy, because it just gives off similar vibes, but these movies are a lot worse than how the 50 Shades trilogy was. I know not many people like those movies, but these movies here are terrible. Like, they all got 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. And as I said in my last trilogy review, I had mentioned that these movies don't contain a storyline. They all are just straight up porn. Though it's a good thing I have not rewatched them recently, because the last time I watched these movies were back in August of last year, and I intend to keep it that way, because never do I ever want to revisit this trilogy ever again. So let's just get the shit over with and get to my thoughts on how I even stumble across 365 Days. Now, even though I'm hesitant making this video, knowing what kind of films these are, this video is going to be kind of fun, just trashing on them. So, story time, to give you a background history of how I stumbled across 365 Days. Around 6 years ago, but basically around the summer of 2020, during the pandemic, I was bored and wanted to watch an inappropriate movie because that was a habit of mine. As I mentioned this in my trilogy review for 50 Shades, that as a kid, I would like to watch inappropriate movies. Like with the 50 Shades trilogy, I would sneak downstairs and watch the sex scenes. So as I was getting a little older, sort of, because I was still young at the time, I would just watch any R-rated movie that was on Netflix. Mostly on Netflix, pretty much, as far as I recall. But Netflix was the place where I had discovered 365 Days, which I believe I watched this first, and then Love afterwards, which, yeah, I'm not making a review on that. Ain't no way in hell. But I remember feeling cringe at times whenever Massimo would say, "Oh, you lost, baby girl." Oh my Jesus Christ, oh god. I'm gonna regret saying that in this freaking video. Good god. Those lines would drive me nuts. And I would just cringe the hell out anytime I try saying that out loud. I don't like saying it, but why is it slightly addicting to say? "Oh, you lost, baby girl." No. Don't take it seriously, Jesus. Who the hell says that? But I mainly remember how this movie had pissed me the hell off, other than the boat scene, which I'm gonna get to later in this. Like, oh god. But seriously though, the only takeaway I got out of this movie was how it ended, and I was just like, it's like that! So thanks to that, I had considered this to be one of the worst movies I had watched in 2020, until I had saw Cuties later that year. That then dethroned 365 Days as the worst movie of 2020, because, oh my god, what it's been years now, I've not revisited it, and I like to keep it that way, because what the hell did I actually just watch? I'm never watching that shit again. The only reason I even checked that out was just to know what was the hate going around it, because it was kind of like talk of the town around the time. But back to topic. So, I would like to say that I had stopped my habits of watching inappropriate movies at a young age after I had watched 365 Days, but I think I mostly stopped after I had watched Love. Now, I don't know if anyone's aware about this, but around June 2020, since we were all in quarantine still during the pandemic, there was this trend going around where they would record their reactions or record their friends or family members' reactions for the opening scene of Love. And I remember laughing my ass off watching those videos, so I wanted to participate in it, and oh god. I really hope I don't have to make a video discussing my thoughts on that movie. I really don't want to make a review discussing about Love. Oh god, no. I know that my channel isn't kid-friendly. I would consider it PG-13, but I don't want to make it full-on rated. Dude, is there even actual reviews? Do have people actually reviewed Love on YouTube? Back to topic. The point I'm trying to get at is that Love was the movie that got me to stop, because that was like that entire movie. Like, I know I said that the 365 Days trilogy is just straight up porn, but with Love, no, that is just, at this point, that movie is not a movie. It's freaking Pornhub, because they show everything, and I mean everything. They show the private parts. The private parts! Even the... You know what? I'm not gonna go into detail. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But if you have, don't watch it. And if you're a young age, do not watch it. Thankfully, it's been removed on Netflix, which... crazy that it was even on Netflix. Okay, back to topic. I really hope I don't ever have to rewatch Love again for a video, because if I end up rewatching it, there is something wrong with me, and I have committed a sin, and I am most likely gonna go to one of those Catholic confession boxes that I mentioned in the last trilogy review and ask for Father's forgiveness. Also, I'm not sure how am I gonna find images for this video. I got lucky last video with 50 Shades, just trying to find appropriate images to use in the background while I just yip-yap reading notes, because I don't like seeing myself like, anyways, my thoughts with this movie. I knew that, yes, I'm not a fan of that. Just looks weird, but okay. What are my thoughts with the movie? So, I mostly didn't like it because of its ending, but now being older, and speaking about that, I know I am old enough to watch these kind of movies, but I just have no interest in them, because I'd rather watch other movies that I would say are worth watching for me. I don't know. I can't explain exactly how I feel watching explicit movies that contain strong sexual content and nudity. But how many watched this movie for probably the third time? Oh god, I can't even recall how many times I've seen this movie. I want to believe it's 3 times in total, because the first time I watched this was in 2020. Then I think I rewatched it in 2022 for when the sequel was coming out. Okay, so there's a good chance I may have seen this 3 or 4 times. While the other 2 sequels, maybe 3 times. But still, the point I'm trying to get at with my thoughts on 365 Days, yeah, I still think this is terrible. Now being older, I have an understanding with a couple of things in this movie, mainly for the part of how this is all wrong, where he basically kidnaps a girl and forces her to fall in love with him for the next 365 days, therefore the title, and she just falls for him after a few days? I am now noticing a crap load of red flags in this movie. Mainly with the hot mafia boss, like how he says, "I won't touch you without permission." Have you heard the phrase called, "actions speak louder than words"? Yeah, he goes against his words and proceeds to touch her anyways. Now, I don't know if this is just me, but I was noticing a couple of scenes here that were giving off heavy vibes of sexual assault or worse, rape. Now, I don't know what else is there to talk about with this movie other than that Laura gets kidnapped by a mafia boss because 5 years ago, after almost losing his life to a gunshot that sadly killed his father, he saw her at a beach and has been looking for her ever since then. Stalker alert! But anyways, he gives her 365 days to fall in love with him, which, okay, big old red flag there. I mean, him being a mafia boss should already be a huge red flag. But that's pretty much it. All we got is no story and just horny, exotic sex scenes, which don't get me started on that boat scene. Anytime I hear the song I See Red, that scene's gonna pop up in my head, but Does nobody care about wearing protection? Because one, they both do the devil's tango and have like probably 6 or 7 rounds. Okay, I really gotta stop with the 6-7 joke meme, but point is, they probably had like so many rounds of doing the devil's tango, had to have been like 10 rounds they had on the freaking boat. And 2, Laura gets pregnant. Massimo doesn't know about it until he finds out either in the 2nd or 3rd movie. But oh my god, when it's revealed at the end that Laura and her unborn child, along with her friend Ogla, if I pronounce her name correctly, get assassinated by the rival family, or most likely Anna, who wasn't happy about getting dumped by Massimo because she literally said she was gonna kill her. Massimo crumbles down heartbroken because he's upset to hear the news that his soon-to-be wife, yes, soon-to-be wife, because after 2 months of being together, he proposes to her and she straight up says yes. Which is ridiculous, but the point I'm trying to get at is that the ending for this movie really pissed me off. Like, what the hell was that? That's basically how I felt after watching this movie 6 years ago. I felt like I just wasted my time watching this movie when the main reason I even just clicked play on this movie, I just found this randomly on Netflix. After I checked, this was rated TVMA for, like, sexual content, nudity and all that, because I was just wanting to watch inappropriate movies, but, like, I was slightly invested, even though there was no story in this movie, but that ending, it just ruined it for me. Like, I consider this to be the worst movie of 2020, until I saw Cuties, a movie I so regret watching. That was not worth it, just to see what was the talk of the town with that atrocious movie. The only positives I have for this movie is I enjoyed some of the songs in this film, and I'm still surprised that the actor that plays Massimo is actually a singer, because he does sing the ending song for the 1st and 2nd movie. I think he also sings the ending song for the 3rd film as well. He actually sings a lot of songs for this entire trilogy. But as soon as the movie ended, Feel It was playing during the credits, and I immediately added that song to my Spotify playlist. I'm gonna feel it so strong. This will make me laugh, we don't even have to say goodbye. I would play the song, but I'm pretty sure I would get a copyright claim for that. Also, I apologize if I cringed you out with my terrible singing. But yeah, I really do enjoy most of the songs that were in this god-awful trilogy, but if I had to give this movie a rating, it's a 2 out of 10 for me. Now, I should give this a lower rating, but I have that saved for another movie in this trilogy, which, speaking about, 2 years later, I find out that we're getting not just 1, but 2 freaking sequels to this first movie that just dropped on Netflix. And since it was a huge hit on Netflix, Netflix saw the success and bought the rights and like, okay, since people really enjoyed this movie, because I guess they're very horny and whatever, we want the rights to movie number 2 and 3. Because the next 2 sequels are Netflix original films, as I believe that's what happened. Netflix bought the rights to make the other 2 sequels, which is crazy that we got 2 of these movies in the same year. Now coming to 365 Days This Day, which, what a dumb title. What the hell is that supposed to mean? I gotta say, this may have had some of the worst kissing scenes I have ever seen. Like, there was so much tongue action in here. But my general thoughts, where the hell do I begin? Because I'm not gonna lie, I was not paying much attention because I fell asleep at the very end of this movie, but this was like my 2nd or 3rd viewing because I had already seen it back in 2022, so I had knew what was going to happen. I was just rewatching it just to have a better understanding of the movie because, you know, like whenever I would watch a movie as a kid, I would not understand it much. But as I'm older and I rewatch it, I then have a better understanding with it. That's basically how it was with, I guess, most movies I watch. Now, if you were to ask me which movie I think is the worst, which is stupid to say because all 3 movies are atrocious, especially with the acting, but if you had to ask me which one I'm gonna pick, I'm going with this one because the 3rd movie freaking sucked. Now, there's a reason why I picked this one as the best for me in the trilogy, because it was slightly entertaining for me. But the main reason is because there's a subplot here involving Massimo's evil twin brother. Yeah, that's right, you heard me. He's got a twin brother in this movie that so happens to be evil, which, oh my god. You know how you would watch a scene and the characters are watching something that involves a character meeting evil twins, like that's what this movie has. And the closest I'm thinking about that is like this is reminding me of something that I think I saw in Friends, where Joey was playing an evil twin of this character in the Days of Our Lives or something. I don't know. This whole evil twin bullshit is reminding me of that trope I have seen, not in just Friends, but in other media that were featured in movies or something. But still, this. Oh my god! Okay, I'm trying to see if I wrote anything on here involving about my mom's reaction, but in case if I have added that in here or not, I'm just gonna bring it up since I'm on the topic of just mentioning Massimo's evil twin brother. So, as she was watching the movie, I was doing something in my room, probably making a video or watching something. My mom screamed my name, calling me to come into her bedroom, Matthias! And I was just like, oh god, what the hell did I do? Because I thought I was gonna get in trouble, or I was getting in trouble for something, but turns out she was only calling my name just to tell me that you're the twin brother! So I'm like, oh, I'm not in trouble, but you're now getting to that scene. Yeah, I'm as shocked as you are. Which, okay, to bring up exactly how I reacted to that scene, I saw, there's a scene of Massimo basically doing the devil's tango, or doggy styling a woman that I guess would be the same woman from the last movie that was jealous of Laura. But still, Laura catches him cheating, but turns out that was not Massimo. That was the twin. So once we get to the twin, like, oh, it's revealed that it was actually his evil twin brother. It took me a minute to realize that. Well, I'm back the frick up. Excuse me? I happen to be a slow person at times, so it took me a sec to realize that we were introduced to apparently his evil twin brother, which, Jesus Christ, man. But hey, that's why I would consider this to be somewhat my favorite, even though I am not a fan of these movies, but still, that's the reason why I picked this to be the best for me, because of the whole goddamn subplot involving his evil twin. I will say this, I felt like I was watching two different movies, because the first half, we're spending time with Laura and Massimo just being horny as hell with each other, doing the devil's tango in like 5 different scenes, and then the other half, we're just spending time with Laura and Nacho, spending time together as friends. Yeah, right. And I want to say that Nacho is a better match for Laura, but I'm not so sure, because I sometimes found him creepy in this movie, especially in this one scene where he's up close to your face and says, make love to me. I'm not kidding. It's, okay, to move the poster away, it's just like, hang on, just look at the camera. Make love to me. I can't take it seriously, but like, what the hell was that? That shit was just cringe as hell. Oh my god. Like, who says that to somebody like that? I just, oh my god. You know what? Now thinking about it, these movies might be hilariously bad. I don't know. It's been a while since I've rewatched them, and as I said, I'd like to keep it that way and not revisit these movies ever again. But bringing back to what I mentioned earlier about how I was shocked to find out that we were getting 2 more movies of 365 Days. Now, around probably spring of 2022, I then saw a promotion, I believe. I was at school, I think. I saw something that said 365 Days this day, and I'm like, hold on, am I seeing shit? Or do my eyes deceive me? I then am shocked to find out that we had just gotten a sequel to 365 Days just out of the blue around April 2022. And I remember my dad probably heard me talk about it. It's like, do not watch that movie. And I could have listened to him, but I didn't because I had to check it out. Mostly because I needed to know how the hell Laura was alive. Because that's what caught my attention with number 2 and 3, which I didn't find out that we'd be getting a 3rd movie until, like, I guess after spring? I'm trying to recall how exactly I found out we were getting a 3rd movie, because overall I was shocked to find out that we were getting another sequel, but then I was more shocked to find out that we were getting the 3rd movie that quick in the same year. Now, since I was not a fan of the first movie, this is a thing with me where, okay, I started this, I now must finish it. And that's how I was, or that's how I felt with 365 Days. I started this, I now must finish it. Which is probably a poor excuse, knowing that these movies are very erotic. Is that the right word I'm using? But the only reason I watched this movie was to find out how the hell Laura did survive, because at the end of the last movie, it was indicated that she and her friend Olga were killed off by the mafia rival, but they survived. Well, sorta. Sadly, Laura lost the baby, which, okay, that's terrible, but the movie opens up to Laura and Massimo doing the devil's tango and then get married. Yeah, I'm still upset that she lost the baby, because I don't like seeing babies die on screen, even though we didn't see a baby die on screen, but still, I'm not a fan of babies dying. Now, they do address the last movie's ending, but That's just it. Oh, here's the part where I had already just said early in the video, because I wasn't sure if I had wrote this down about how my mom found out about the evil twin, but I know I already said, but I'm gonna read exactly how I typed it down on Letterboxd. I was pissed with Massimo cheating on Laura with his ex-girlfriend because bro didn't want to talk about his brother to Laura as he was acting nonchalant, except turns out that wasn't him, but the twin brother, as you can tell the difference by their eye color, hairstyle, and clothing. Like I said, it took me a minute to realize what the hell was going on. But my mom's reaction to the whole twin brother thing, I'll never forget, because it was so funny. She called me from her room, and I thought I was getting in trouble for something, but turns out she called me about the twin brother subplot because she had lost her shit about it. Anyways, now back to the movie. Before I get to my thoughts with the ending, another little subplot I liked was that Olga got married to Massimo's right-hand man. This movie was entertaining at times, but still, even though I would say that this is the best for me in the trilogy, it still sucks. None of these movies are great. There's no plot in any of them. But I thought the last movie's ending had pissed me off. They pissed me off again with this ending, as they rehashed the last movie's ending where Laura dies. Sorta. But oh my god, did that piss me off so much, because what the hell, Netflix? And oh, here's another thing I already brought up earlier where I said also I think Netflix bought the rights to the movies because the first one did so well on Netflix because everyone were watching it during the pandemic. They greenlit 2 sequels. Yes, 2 sequels. 2 freaking sequels. At least a good song played at the end, but that ending like ruined this movie for me again. But the next movie's ending, oh, it's so much worse. If I had to give this a rating, it's a 3 out of 10. Okay, I'm almost done. Just one more. I will say this, I'm having fun just discussing about my thoughts with these movies. Mostly trashing on them because they are terrible. No disrespect to the actors. I do like the actors, but I'm sorry. These movies they're bad. They're bad. We can all agree that they're bad. Now coming into the last movie of this god-awful trilogy, screw the next 365 days. Now in Letterboxd, I dropped the F word, but I can't say it because I'm trying not to say it for a whole year. God damn it! I wish I made this sooner! Also, I'm now just realizing this. In all 3 movies, has it exactly been 365 days? Actually, you know what? I don't even freaking care. Even though all 3 of these movies were terrible, this is easily the worst of the trilogy for me. Because not only did I wasted my time watching this movie, but watching 3 erotic movies with no plot but just sex scenes is a huge waste of time. And that is thanks to the movie's god-awful ending. I want to say there were some entertaining moments like the last one, but I'm not gonna lie, I didn't pay attention to shit, as I just had this movie playing in the background while I was just busy writing stuff on my planner. Besides, I had already seen this movie, so I knew some stuff that was gonna happen. I was just dreading on watching this movie, because I knew how much I hated it. This is definitely one of the worst movies from 2022. Both 365 Days 2 and 3 are one of the worst movies from that year. Technically, I should have been paying attention so I could discuss any thoughts I have, but honestly, screw that. So, I'm gonna make this quick, because I hate this movie. But damn, this movie had some catchy songs where I had to rewind back just to find the song names and have them added to my Spotify playlist. Like one of them being Stranger that plays during a rave scene. The song goes like this. Kiss me like a stranger. Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna do that. I would play it, but again, copyright. Also, I'm now realizing that there's only 50 montages in all 3 movies, as there's no story, but just people doing the devil's tango. Why did I get that on camera? Jesus Christ. Yeah, I regret my life choices. One of them watching these movies, but in this 3rd entry, we are continuing this love triangle between Laura, Massimo, and Nacho, but oh my god, there is a specific scene that happens in the movie that is basically a threesome. Now, this is mostly a dream sequence, but this scene would be Massimo and Nacho in bed with Laura, and they're both taking turns kissing Laura, but then eventually, they both start to make out together. What the hell am I watching? Why did I do this to myself? I never want to watch this shit again. Also, Massimo acts like a dick to Laura about not telling him about losing their child, and doesn't like that she's liking Nacho a little bit, but I shouldn't even be rooting for this guy, because he's not a great person. He stalked her, then kidnapped her, and forced her to fall in love with him in the next 365 days, which, speaking about, how the hell did she even fall for this guy? Nothing makes sense with these movies! But let's get to my thoughts on the ending, because What the hell was that? So the movie ends with another cliffhanger, except Laura doesn't die this time around. I would say thank God, but that doesn't make anything better, because she survived getting shot by Massimo's ex in the last movie, but also survived an assassination in the first movie. Like, how are you still alive? You almost died twice. You should be dead right now. But yeah, Laura and Massimo's marriage is falling apart, and I don't even know what happens at the end, because I don't know if she gets back together with Massimo or leaves him for Nacho, which, honestly, she does Nacho dirty, which says a lot, because I found him to be creepy in the last two movies. But the movie ends with Massimo asking, "Are you back, baby girl?" Oh, God, I hate that. Why? Oh, Jesus Christ. Which, oh, God, if I ever hear the words baby girl again, I'm going to freaking lose it. But she says nothing as they stare at each other at the beach while the sun sets and the movie ends. So what the hell was that about? Did I just wasted my time watching 3 erotic movies? Because it sure seems like it. I could give this a 3 out of 10 or whatever low rating, but for that ending alone, it's getting a 1 out of 10, because what the hell? This god-awful trilogy makes the 50 Shades trilogy look like a masterpiece. Oh, finally! All that is out of my chest, which I guess that's another excuse or reason, or another reason, but mostly excuse, or other way around. I don't know, point is, I guess that's why I wanted to make this video, just to get my thoughts out of the way of 365 Days, 1, 2, and 3. I'm just glad to have this video out, and hopefully y'all were entertained by it, but my mom enjoyed these movies, so glad she enjoys them, because as I mentioned, she's not like most critics, she just enjoys movies for how they are. But as for me, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I will say this, oh, this is a little embarrassing. I had a personal reason to want to rewatch these movies other than just do a video on. Technically, I have wrote notes on my notebook, but it's back home, so I had to start from scratch. But honestly, I'm glad I did, because I'm sure these notes were a lot better than what I originally wrote on my notebook that's somewhere in my bedroom with my original notes on my thoughts on all 3 movies of 365 Days. But I would like to never go back to this trilogy again. I'd rather rewatch the 50 Shades trilogy, and I feel weirder going back to those movies, because, I mean, those are decent, I suppose. I mean, I get why they're bad, but they're, like, again, this trilogy makes that trilogy look like a masterpiece. And there's, like, so many knockoffs and ripoffs of 50 Shades of Grey with the after movies, which I'm not sure if I could even compare that. It's mostly 365 Days that's got competition with 50 Shades of Grey. After is just, I don't know, honestly. Though you'll know my thoughts on all 5 movies once I get a chance to review that, I believe next week. Now that I'm looking forward to making a video about, because I've not seen after 4 and 5. Well, that being said, that's my thoughts on the 365 Days trilogy, as all 3 films are streaming on Netflix, and if you have seen them, which I apologize if you have, feel free to leave a comment down below. But if you've not, do not watch these movies on Netflix. Do not. They're a waste of your time. Watch better movies that are on Netflix, like Rebel Ridge, or freaking, Frankenstein. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Just watch anything but 365 Days, because I cannot recommend these movies. They're god-awful, they are terrible, and, you know what, actually, I hate to say this. If you're wanting to get in the mood, be my guest and watch them on Netflix. But don't say I didn't warn you if you come out disappointed watching these movies. But anyways, I'd end the video here, but oh god, I'm not sure if my dad's aware of this. I'm gonna go get his thoughts. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Give me a second. Howdy. Do you know what video I was making about?
No,
Well, it's a trilogy review of the 3 specific movies you told me not to watch about kind of between 4 years ago. Can you guess what they are?
I don't know, Mateo.
He's currently watching soccer, but you remember? Okay, I will give you a hint. It's the 365 Days trilogy. Were you not aware that I've seen all 3 of them a while ago?
No, Mateo.
Well, you want to know what my thoughts are?
Well,
They're terrible. I never want to watch them again. Okay, hope y'all enjoyed that. See you on the next video.